how you doing everyone? It's a Daisy, and today's Marriage for Real video is encouraging you to be an influencer, not a complainer, aka nagger.
Oh yeah, you see people taking their place in your love. Oh yeah, as you keep your light in our lights from above. Oh yeah, you just spark the fire that fires me up. Oh yeah.
I can confidently say that I'm not much of a nagger, and I can say that confidently because my husband tells me so. But also because I've learned the power of praise, and I've learned how actually you can influence somebody through praising rather than complaining. Praising is far more powerful than moaning and groaning and shouting and pulling out your hair. Praising and encouraging and looking for the good is more powerful than nagging. So I did a video about this on Facebook some time back. Actually, it's like at the beginning of 2017, because a lot of women were coming to me and saying, you know what, I've got a husband here, but he doesn't do anything, and he doesn't do this, and I need him to do that, and I need him to do this, and he really does not respond to me when I'm asking him to do these things. So when I started to talk to these women and really uncover their approach, I found that at the worst, they were completely nagging, and at best, they were just complaining. So they would see their husbands and they'd be like, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, why didn't you do this? I needed you to do this and you didn't. And now imagine being the person that every single day, all you're told and all you're reminded of are the things you didn't do, or the things you should have done, or the things you did but you didn't do too well. Even if you're telling me that with a smile on your face, after a while, I'm going to be demotivated. After a while, I'm really going to shut down. And that's what these women were finding, that their husbands were just recoiling and just shutting down and not even listening to them anymore. And that's because you complain. Every time you open your mouth to say something, it's a complaint or a moan. And listen, men don't really respond too well to that. Children don't respond too well to that. People don't respond too well to that. It's not the most effective way of bringing out the best of somebody. So, you know, we spend a lot of time in church and we read the Bible and we hear that even God himself responds to praise. And I think that that's a guidance to how we can get the best out of our spouses as well. So I tried this, and I tell my friends this as well, that, well, Mr. Chiwoko buys, or used to buy me flowers every Sunday. And he's sort of made that a bit more sparse these days, but I do get a lot of flowers. But people say, well, how did he start doing this? And I remember that when he first got me a bouquet of flowers, I praised him to the high heavens. Like, I was over the top praising him. And I noticed that when he received that praise, his chest got a bit bigger and his shoulders went back and he looked a little bit taller. And there was a sort of ego about him. You know, he felt kind of good about himself. So guess what? Every week he came back and he bought me flowers because he liked that feeling and he wanted to get it again. So then I took that lesson and I transferred it to other things. Okay, so I need Mr. Chiwoko to maybe change a light bulb. Maybe I've told him a couple of times and he's not yet done it. My other response would have been to come back and be like, babe, I've asked you to change this light bulb and you haven't done it, and you never do this and you never do that. And how many times do I have to ask you? And it's so frustrating. You know what, I might as well do it myself. See, I don't respond like that anymore. Now what I do is I go to him, or I'll wait till I see him doing something in line with what I've asked him to do. So maybe he is just, I don't know, maybe he is cooked. And I might say to him, babe, you know what, I love when you cook. You are just really involved in this household. I'm blessed to have you. I know that you care about the things that happen in this home. I praise him about the things that he is doing. And then I'll say, when you get a moment, don't forget the light bulb. And I promise you that instantly that light bulb will be changed. because I have gone on the backdrop of praise and not nagging him. Praise is powerful. Even in your job, guess what? Your boss has gone away on a training course to figure out how to get the best out of you. And more times out of 10, they are taught that if you can encourage and praise somebody, you're going to get the best out of them. Then that should be our desire. Our desire should be that we're bringing the best out of our spouse. We're the person that brings the best out of our spouses. But a lot of the time, because all we do, our default is to complain and to nag or even to get angry, we're bringing out the worst in our spouses, and actually we're not influencing them positively. And so a lot of the times, if we want to see change in our spouses or in our homes, if we would use praise as opposed to complaining, you will find that change comes around a lot quicker than if you was to moan. And the other thing that I want to mention here about how to be an influence is you have to be the conduit of change. So there's no point me sitting here and saying, do you know what, this is what I want my marriage to be like, and this is what needs to change, when I'm the person that's blocking it. If my husband can't talk to me because all I do is moan, if my husband has recoiled and has almost separated himself from me because every time he tries to talk to me or whatever he seems to do, I take it as a negative, or I take it in the wrong light, or I'm ready to get upset about it, then I am actually being a blockage in my marriage. I'm not creating an atmosphere for positive change. I'm definitely not influencing him positively. All I'm doing is telling him in an indirect and direct way that actually we don't have great communication. I'm always going to pick out the worst in you. I don't see any good in you. And anytime you do something that I'm not happy with, I'm going to create a negative atmosphere. You tell me, who wants to come home to that? Who wants to live in that sort of atmosphere, that sort of home? I know that even me as a woman, I wouldn't like that. You have people, you have spouses in their marriage walking around on eggshells, not really ever being or feeling free enough to be themselves because you're a complainer. You are a complainer. You're the type of person that will be quick to see the ugly before you see the beauty. You're the kind of person that will be quick to see the downside before you see the upside. You'll see the negative before you see the positive. What I want you to teach yourself to do is to look for the positive. Look for the positive, and then you can start to bring in the change. If you want him to say more nice things to you, you say more nice things to him. So what I want to do this week is actually challenge you to take action on what I've just taught you. And so I want you to spend 1 week, 7 days, not complaining about anything. Not moaning about anything, not looking for the negatives in anything, but rather what I want you to do is look for the tiniest things to give praise for, the tiniest things to be positive about, the tiniest things to be grateful for. And I want you to be free and comfortable with speaking out those praises. If he says something great, I want you to really compliment him about it. If he does something really tiny, even if it's something that he does all the time, I want you to praise him and compliment him about it. And you come back and tell me whether you've started to see some positive changes in your marriage, even in the atmosphere in your home. Because definitely what complaining does is breed a negative and heavy, thick atmosphere. It makes life quite awkward. And so as you take this week, take up this challenge to be more positive, to be a positive influencer as opposed to a negative complainer, you are going to experience that the atmosphere in your home changes. And I really do believe that you're going to start to see your spouse respond more positively to you and do more of the things that you really wanted them to do. You can email me at admin@marriageforreal.co.uk. And if you're not already following me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, all under the name of Marriage for Real. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and I'll see you next week. Bye.